So
How's
this
it
is the
going?
first. This is the first doxed.
Very first doxed.
Yep. Yep.
That's what
This is
it's all about.
exciting.
I
Yep.
know. So there's really no format to this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's really like a casual conversation so that people can get to know you better and so I can get to know you better.
Well, you know me pretty good. So, but yeah, for those that don't know me, yeah, I'm Chris, RawGalleryNFT, and it's a great pleasure to be here with Noah. School's still out. One of my favorite people in the whole space.
Likewise. So, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Um, maybe, well, I was going to start with your NFT journey, but let's go even further back. So,
Okay.
where are you from? Where do you
Uh,
live now? Where have you lived in between?
Originally from Memphis. Grew up outside of Nashville. Um, I worked in the automotive industry for 26 years and actually moved to South Carolina for that and lived out there in South Carolina for 17 years. And then 3 years ago, moved back here. Uh, in November of last year, I entered the NFT space full time. I left my job in the automotive industry to devote my time full time to the NFT space and Web3. And it's been an incredible journey, crazy
What,
time,
what was that like, quitting your job and
terrifying.
going full time? Yeah.
It was terrifying. It was actually NFT New York back in November of last year. I had an opportunity to go, and my employer was like, "Well, this is really short notice, and we really can't approve this vacation." And I was like, "Well, you know what? I think this is an opportunity to meet fellow artists and integrate into the community and meet people in real life, and I need to take advantage of it." So I turned in my 2 week notice and hopped on a plane to New
Oh
York.
wow, that's what
That's
the
what led me.
decision. Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it was crazy, and it was spur of the moment. And in hindsight, I probably didn't handle it the best way. I should have given more notice or whatever. But I felt really strongly inside that it was something I needed to do because
Yeah.
I love this community and a chance to hang out with great artists like I met Seeking Sonya and Senator Greaves, and I was able to meet Wes Henry, just to be able to talk to them and pick their brains a bit about the space and connect. It was just an amazing experience that I'll never forget. It was
Yeah. So how did you get into the NFT space?
originally, well, I've always been kind of a creator. Um, I mean, if we go way back, probably around 2015, uh, I was on Etsy and I had my own Etsy business and was doing photography and woodworking, which is my real passion. Of course, woodworking doesn't really relate to the NFT space very well, but God, I love it. But
Are you still doing woodworking?
when I have time, which is very rare, because Web3 is 24/7, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So, but I was into crypto too, and playing with alts and looking at new opportunities, and I got involved with a NFT token, and I didn't know anything about NFTs and started to learn more about NFTs and saw that there was a huge opportunity for the fine art space in NFTs. And it was a really an untapped, at that time, there weren't very many fine art NFT artists in the space. I mean, it was like, I came in around the same time as like Jason Chambers, uh,
So when is
A
this?
Project. This was probably March of last
Okay.
of yeah, March
2020?
last year. Yes, not this year, last year. So and it was just phenomenal. And if for anybody that remembers that summer, it was like the summer
The summer of
of
NFTs.
oh my God. If we could go back to that time, it was so
I
amazing.
know.
And and Raw grew and did really well for that time. And of course, it's slowed down some, but that's for everybody. So, but I look to see a rejuvenation very soon in the space.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, what is Raw Gallery?
Raw Gallery is a collective of artists, and I'm the face. Um, I'm the one on the Twitter account, trying to promote everybody's work. And I work on commission for these other artists, and it's artists from all over the world, Africa, Europe, here in the States, Canada. Right now we have 11 Raw Gallery NFT artists, and it's really a fascinating, eclectic group of different styles and different people and different cultures and different backgrounds. And that was really important to me too. When I was first brainstorming about this, was, I want everybody to be represented because, Web3 is an inclusive space, and very important to me for all types to be represented. And for me, just to be able to play a small role in that is really an honor. Working with these artists every day, talking to them every day or every other day. Where else do you get an opportunity to speak to a great artist from Africa, and then 20 minutes later be talking to David de Weert in Belgium? I mean, it's just
it's pretty
insane.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's just not just the Raw Gallery NFT artists, but it's artists like yourself. I've built so many relationships in this space, that are just, you can't put a price on it. Just true friendships. Like, it's just an opportunity that is really unique that I've not seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So how do the artists find you, or are you finding them?
Typically they find me. I really haven't had to search out because, I've kind of built a reputation for myself in the space. Recently added Neda Tavali. She's an Iranian artist. Absolutely fantastic, brilliant woman.
Her work's amazing.
Yeah, she reached out to me just because she, values what I do in the space and what the other Raw Gallery artists do in the space, and wanted to be a part of it. And so sometimes other artists refer people to me, but I really don't go out looking anymore because, quality to me is very important. And I think the Raw Gallery NFT artists, their quality of art, the value that they bring to the space is very important to set that standard. And so it's not, I'm pretty choosy about who comes into the fold and who I work with.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see the range of styles and genres that are represented with Raw Gallery.
Yeah,
like
you've got like
dark art,
Ashes,
hyper realism. It's
yeah,
pretty
crazy.
wild.
Yeah, and I don't know how it happened. I'm extremely lucky and extremely blessed that I'm working with these guys, because I mean, just the level of talent that they have just amazes me every day. And their attitudes are always top notch, always positive, always, happy. So it's just a really fulfilling job to have. I could never, if you had told me I'd be doing this, 10 years ago, I'd be like, what are you talking about? But it's
or even
amazing.
like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, even 2 years ago, I'd be like, no, I work for the car industry. But yeah, it's amazing. Very blessed.
That's awesome. So now, for you personally as a collector, because anybody that knows you or knows of you knows that you're also a big collector, and huge supporter of the community. You were my first collector.
Yep.
And really like brought me into this space, to be honest, you know. Introduced me to my next like 4 or 5 collectors, and really like guided me through this process. So like, if you had to describe your, I don't know what the word would be, but like, how would you describe yourself as a collector? Like, what are you looking for? You know, how important is it to like know the person behind the art versus just, you know, being amazed by the art? If you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it really just varies. I mean, I love finding hidden gems, and I love trying to support people that are really trying hard, you know. And I could see with you that you were trying to make a break into the space, that you were really working hard, and your art was just fantastic, obviously. So
Thank you.
it's really people like you that I really search for, these smaller artists that are just coming up and trying to catch a break, you know, because I know how difficult it is to catch a break in the space. It's very, very competitive, difficult space.
Yeah.
So anytime I can help, you know, and that makes me feel good too. Not just that I helped somebody financially, but, you know, also gave them some recognition, you know, put their work out there for others to see, you know.
Yeah.
That's really important, you know, sharing and giving, and because I'm a firm believer that what you put out there, you'll get back. So
I agree 100%. So I know you doxed yourself pretty early on. I knew your first name and where you lived and all that
oh
from
yeah,
the jump. So
yeah.
how important is that in this space for you personally, as far as like interacting with people and collecting work?
Well, I mean, we've all been fooled before, haven't we?
Hmm.
um I mean, I think it's pretty important. I mean, like, some of the anon artists, you know, they do show their face, you know, they may not give their name, but, you know, they do say, you know, here I am.
Hmm.
um it really just depends. I mean, a collector needs to do his research.
Yeah.
You know, you need to go through those links, and you need to use reverse Google image search if need be, you know.
Hmm.
And, you know, there's been times when I just fell in love with a piece and I didn't research it the way that I should have, and I got burned, you know. So but we're in a space where it's so unique, because you actually, you know, in the traditional art market, you're not going to have a personal relationship. Like, if I buy your art, you know,
Yeah.
wherever, in the museum or gallery, I'm not going to have a personal relationship with you. Whereas here in Web3, I can say, "Hey, Noah, this looks fantastic. Good job, buddy."
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, and so it's really just such a unique environment that you have that opportunity. So, but as a collector, I mean, I don't know. You've seen my collection. I'm all over the place. I like photography. I like dark art. I like abstracts. So
Yeah. You
if
like
it,
what
if,
you like.
right, if it hits me and it makes me feel something, then that's, you know, that's what I look for.
Yeah. Speaking of photography, so you're a photographer,
Yep.
and so is that something that you have always had as a passion, a hobby? Is it something that you've wanted to pursue professionally throughout your life,
Oh,
and this is finally an opportunity, or what?
I
Talk a
would
little bit about that.
love to be a professional photographer. I don't really have the equipment yet to do that, but, you know, I just use what I have.
Yeah.
But I'm just a very visual person. And I kind of feel like I see things from a unique perspective sometimes. And I mean, I've always taken pictures ever since cell phones came out, you know, and um, it's definitely a passion. I wish I could devote more time to it. And maybe in the future that'll be something that I can pursue further. You know, maybe if I get a little bit better equipment too. If you hear this cat, I apologize. There's cats everywhere in here, but yeah, it's definitely something that I enjoy and would like to do more of, especially with the abandoned, like the train series that I did on No No Agenda.
Yeah.
So much fun. Because
Yep.
it was way up in the woods, like it was like sketchy to get to, and there were some sketchy people there too. That was not a great fun place. I wasn't there very long. Let's put it that way. And I
Yeah.
definitely wasn't there after dark. But I would love to do more of that, because living here in the southern U.S., there's so many cool old, you know, structures and things that, you know, it's just amazing. You walk around in the woods and there'll be a, you know, a 57 Chevy just sitting in the back of the woods. And you're like, how the hell did this even get here? You know, so.
Yeah. What is it about? Because I'm so fascinated with, like, you know, you see an old car in the middle of a field, and it's got all this shit growing around it, and it looks like it hasn't moved in 50 years, and like an old building that's boarded up, and it's so fascinating. Like, what is it about that that's so interesting? Like, what draws
Yeah.
us
And you
to
want to
that?
know
Do you know?
and you want to know the story behind it too. How did it get like that? You know, who was the last person to interact with this? You know,
Yeah.
it's so weird. But yeah, I would love to do some more stuff like that. I've actually got a couple of locations that I'm looking at now, and I'm thinking of buying a pretty good digital camera for if I do go do those shoots. So it should be pretty interesting.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah,
Looking forward to seeing that.
yeah, it should be fun.
So we talked a little bit about the that wonderful summer of NFTs, and obviously we're not now where we were then with this space. You know,
Right.
you see people struggling to make sales. The prices have, you know, have gone down dramatically since then. You know, like, you could drop a 10 of 10 at 0.1 each and sell out like right away. You know, what what's changed in your opinion? Like, what have you seen contribute to where we are now, and like what could or needs to happen to get us back to a place like that? I know it's a
Well,
big question.
you got to look at the whole overall. I mean, anybody that's been in crypto for a while knows. I mean, this is just crypto. You
Yeah.
know, there's highs and there's lows, and we're definitely in a recession. I would think we'll probably be in a recession for at least another 6 months, if not longer. So, um, and you can see that all across the board: stocks, bonds, everything. You know,
Yeah.
and of course, crypto being the most volatile, you know, investment that you can make, it's definitely going to affect crypto, and NFTs are part of crypto. So, I mean, it's times like these when I don't know, and sometimes it's necessary to purge the space a little bit. I think we were a little oversaturated, and now we're seeing who are the real players, who are the real,
Yeah.
you know,
Who's
in
gonna
it to
still
win.
be here next year?
Exactly, who's in it to win
Yeah.
it, who's going to be here, you know, who's making an effort still in this bear market every day to be a positive influence in the space and to help keep the space going. So, you know,
Yeah.
it was definitely needed, and you know, it's unfortunate to lose people, but you know, if it picks up, they'll be back. Probably.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Yeah, you can
they'll be
count on
back.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll hold it down till they get.
Yeah, that's right. Um, I was gonna ask you, so, you know, being 24/7 in this space, what does a typical day look like for you? I've always wondered
Oh,
that. Like,
dude.
do you wake up and you just like hit Twitter right away, then, you know, get
Usually
ready, and what
I'll
is it?
check. Well, I kind of, when you work for yourself, you have to have a schedule.
Hmm.
Um, you can't not have a schedule because, and I think it's important that you have your own space, your own workspace. Almost like you're going to work. You're getting in that
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
So, I'll get up, get my coffee, take a shower, check my emails, um, check my other social media accounts, and then I will go to Twitter, and see what's going on there. And it never fails. There's God knows how many DMs. And of course, we're all in different chat groups,
and in different
uh,
time zones.
and in different time zones. Exactly. So, I mean, someone's always awake and
Yeah,
always needs something and always asking, for an opinion on something. I'm happy to give it. I can't always give it immediately, but you know, so I mean, it's busy all day long until around 8 or 9 o'clock. I have to have some me time, and kind of zone out for a little bit, and I think it's important mentally for everyone to take, we all have families, we
yeah,
all have lives, a lot of us have other jobs, you know, and have to have time to create. So, it's a very, very busy day, but I probably don't have it as busy as, like, let's say if I was like you and trying to have a normal job and a family and create, so hats off to you guys, because I don't know how the hell you do it, because it keeps me running all day long. So
yeah, yeah. It's pretty crazy the amount of time. I know when I came into this space, I didn't expect to have to put so much time into Twitter and
right,
marketing,
right,
and you know, and the great thing is obviously you get to build relationships with people that
yes,
are like real life friendships, like between you and me, you
right,
know. And but it's a huge commitment, and you can't, you know, be an NFT artist and not put some amount of time into Twitter and like building your collector base and all of that, and vice versa. You know, if you spend all your time on
right,
Twitter, you don't have time to create. So it's hard to find
right.
that balance. So hard to find, and most of us are still trying to figure that out. What is
Yes,
that
yes,
balance?
yes, yes.
So
It's like, I don't know, you've got the Discord now too. And, I've been, do you want to create a Discord? And I'm like, hell no, I don't want to create a Discord. I don't have time for that. So it's
yeah,
just
one more thing.
insanity.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let me add one more thing to the pile. But
yeah.
yeah, so hats off to you, brother. I don't know how you keep up,
It's not easy.
especially with little ones. At least my daughter is, you know, 14, and
Yeah,
I can't imagine with little ones, little bitty ones. I just, oof.
it is hard. Yeah, I mean, my little one, demands my attention in the evenings. You know, when she's home from school, it's like I can't be on Twitter. You know, 'cause as soon as I look down at
Right.
my phone, she's like, hello."
Yeah, yeah. And those are
So,
times you don't want to miss either, because it goes fast.
oh yeah, totally. I agree. So when you zone out at night, what is that? How do you zone out? You watching
Net
TV,
Netflix.
Netflix? What are you watching right
Yeah.
now?
Just finished House of Dragons. Finished that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all right. It was okay. It's better than no Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, either that or just spend time with my family too, because I don't get to see them, as much during the day, because I'm kind of in my own private workspace. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, and it's important to take advantage of those times too. It's important to every once in a while just take a day off. You know, don't even log
Yeah.
on to Twitter. Go do something fun. Go do something with the family. Go outside. You know, so
Yeah, it's interesting because I know that there's probably other people that feel what I feel, and that's like you feel like you can't take a day off because
mhm.
the space moves so quickly, and you spend all this, you invest a lot of time in like building momentum with Twitter and sales and or collecting or whatever, and then it's like, if you take a day off, are people gonna, is it just gonna move on without you? Like, I actually have this fear that if I take a day off, like the NFT space is gonna
Mhm.
take off without me. So like, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, but you
You
can't
got
feel
any
that.
advice?
I mean, it's going to be here, and
Yeah,
and it's going to be here when you get back. So, you know, mentally, it's you've got to take breaks because it's
yeah,
such you can get really sucked down in the Twitter hole, and you've got to be able to separate, real life from the Twitter land.
yeah,
But it can be so mentally taxing, and there just has to be some separation there, or you'll go crazy.
yeah. That's
I've
true.
seen it happen. Unfortunately. So
Yeah, and then if you burn out, then you're
right.
you're you're done. So I definitely need to start
Yep.
taking some days off here and there.
Yep. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
Who is an artist right now that you feel, it could be one of your artists, or it can be someone not a raw gallery artist? Who's the artist that you're looking at that you're like, this person's going to be big, and they're still sort of under the radar?
Mm.
I know I'm putting you on the spot
I
because
mean,
there's so
there's
many
so
people that you.
many. Right. I'm scared to say somebody because then others will be like, "What did you say my name?" I mean, Jesus.
I couldn't answer this question, so myself personally.
Uh,
So we'll see if you can.
I really like Ali's work, Shapar.
Hmm.
I think he's still under the radar. Um, who else? Seeking Sonya, of course, always amazing. Always amazing. Uh, trying to think. Yeah, you really put me on the spot. Um, I really like tiny artist work too. Um, I don't know. There's just so many. Like I say, and I wish I had a million billion ETH,
I know.
where I could collect everybody and just, it's really, really hard because I always try to get some back. Like if we make a sale for Raw, or I make a sale on my own work, on No Origin or whatever,
Hmm.
I always devote, at least half of, whatever Raw brings out to help support others. And I mean, for myself too, sales have been slow, so I'm not able to collect as much as I would love to. But there's so much good art out there.
Yeah.
So many talented people. It's like it's like stop showing me all this dope ass art because it's
I
all so
know.
good.
It's almost
You know,
painful, right? You're like,
yeah,
man, I
it's
wish
like
I
I
could just
want it
buy
so
it all.
bad. I know
Yeah.
it's really and making a decision on what to buy and when to buy. Usually, it's really if I have liquidity or not,
Yeah.
and this timing. So, if I've just made a sale and I see something dope, I'm like, yeah, I need that. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, of course, there are certain artists that I always try to support. You know, always try to support the ones that have supported Raw in the past, like you or Brian Fordman or Sonia, or you know, because it's just really important to me, and it touches me in my heart. You know, when you guys help support me or support, you know, the other Raw Gallery NFT artists, because they do work really freaking hard. You know,
Yeah, and their work is all amazing too.
well, I appreciate it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, top level. Um, so do you like, trying to think of how to ask this? Um, because this space is so competitive, um, and you know, there's obviously new artists joining the space every day still, and a lot of them have amazing art, but they're working full time, and they don't really have the time to be producing work, or like spending a lot of time on Twitter regularly. Like, what advice would you give someone like that?
Um, well, if you don't have a lot of time to devote to Twitter, I mean, your quality of content needs to be pretty high.
Hmm.
You know, you need to be showing your best work. For sure, make sure that you have your links in order. That's one of the main things. And I mean, it seems like every time, you know, we do a art share space, or, you know, that's one of the first things that I go to is their links. You know, do they go where they're supposed to go? You know,
And are you talking about like a link tree or link
links?
fire?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Do they go where they're supposed to go? Do you have a link to your Instagram, you know, so that I know that you are who you say they are?
Hmm.
So, um, and just building relationships, you know, is so important, you know. And once you've been in the space for a while, you know who the real ones are. You know who you need to
Yeah.
be building. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else, any other advice other than, you know, well, also sharing, you know, definitely share
Hmm.
your peers, because you never know, you know, who's going to share you back. You know, it could be a monster account that shares you back, you know, and now your work just got seen by, you know, however many people. So,
Yeah, no, that's true. That's good advice. Um, so I think that the burning question from the NFT community is, for you, is why do you look so much like Stone Cold Steve Austin?
I get that all the time, which is, you know, hey, he's a very attractive man. So, you know, it's an honor to be compared to Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it's because I just keep my hair short because it's easier to manage. And um, but yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
messing with you.
yeah. The gifts and the memes. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. He's great, great,
Yeah,
great dude.
good guy. Yeah. So do you, for your photography, do you have like other photographers whose work that, you know, you've looked at that inspire you, or uh you know, did you have people around you growing up that were photographers, or is this just something that you've been drawn to naturally?
My dad is an artist.
Oh,
He
really?
yes, and he did a lot of photography, but he also did a lot of painting and some sculpting too. He was never famous, you know, but I
Hmm.
grew up seeing his work. Uh, I always had a deep love of Ansel Adams, black and white photography. You know, I had Ansel Adams prints all over my room. Uh, when I was coming up, I still have some of them. And then, like in the space today, there's so many good photographers, Roving Rivera and Grondin, and oh my God, you know, I can't even think. Then just seeing their work, you know, Ogur and Foley, all these great photographers, Guido, and just looking at their work inspires me every day, you know, and I just see, you know, I'm just an amateur, you know, and these guys are just amazing. And it just,
Yeah.
you know, inspires me to do better and, you know, to elevate my craft as much as I can, you know, because they're just so freaking talented. And again, that's, you know, it's so hard not to just buy everything because some of their works are just mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, man, that is such a perfect freaking shot. You know? but
Yeah.
but growing up, I mean, I've always been attracted to photography, and um I'm glad I get an opportunity to do it now. I never in a million years would have thought I'd be able to sell my own photography as an NFT, and it's crazy the amount of support I've gotten. I think I've got like 2 ETH volume on OpenSea and 2 ETH volume on freaking Known Origin, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, this is so cool. I never in a million years, you know, I sold some prints on Etsy, but you know, nothing like it is in the NFT space.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten so much support and so much love, and it's just really blown me away, you know, the amount of support.
Yeah. Well, I think that photography is, you know, obviously equipment makes a difference and some training with that equipment makes a difference. But I
Yes.
feel personally, at least, you know, photography is really about, you know, being able to tell a story and share a unique perspective from a still image, you know? And so I think that having that eye for it is the foundation for it. And you have, you know, I think you have that, and that's why people are drawn to your photography because, you know, you even just like the way that you shoot, you know, it's like you're on the floor in a bus or a train, you know, looking at from like an angle, and you can almost feel like you're there, you know. So
Yeah.
anyways, I feel like you've got that, and like, you
Well, I
know,
appreciate that.
yeah. So I'm excited to see what you keep coming out with.
I'm
So
not scared to get dirty either. Like a couple of those in the train. I mean, that floor is nasty,
yeah,
nasty. And I laid off and down in the floor, you know, and you know, angled it up a little bit, you know, to get
yeah,
that perspective. So I'm not afraid to get dirty. That's just
yeah,
part of the fun. You know, you can always shower when you get home.
yeah. It's true. um, is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Um, just keep an eye on Raw Gallery because I've got some pretty cool announcements coming up. I can't really talk about it too much. There's an artist that's in the space that's going to be joining Raw Gallery NFT soon. He's a good one. And he's
Okay.
a good friend, and it's been a long time coming because I mean it's not an easy process. I mean it takes about 2 months, you know, to get with all,
Yeah.
but because there's contracts. I mean Raw Gallery NFT is not just, you know, it's not just Chris minting stuff. It's a business, you know, it's a LLC. So there's lots of, you know, I's that have to be dotted and T's that have to be crossed. But yeah, I've got some good ones coming in, and Netta is a huge deal. She's really freaking talented. I look for that collection to do extremely well. She's so
Yeah.
talented. And then I've got some new work from the artists that have been around for a while. I just got a whole new selection of work from Nana Osei. Brilliant, brilliant Ghanaian traditional artist. Yeah, I know you know Nana's work. So
Yeah.
he just sent me a whole set of these just crazy good. I'm gonna have to think of maybe even start a new collection just for these because it's really
Oh
good.
wow.
Yeah. So there's always some fun stuff going on at Raw Gallery NFT. So
Yeah. Now, I know you said you went to NFT NYC. Have you gone
Yep.
to other IRL stuff? Are you going to anything coming up? Do you have any events that you're going to be at?
I would love to. It's just, a matter of finances, with the market being what it is. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't really afford, 3 nights in Miami or at Art Basel, or, it just depends on the financial situation. I would love to do more IRL events. I was actually talking to, there's several here in the Southeast of the States. You got Brian Forderman and Kira and Fur and Jason Chambers and Jesse Doyle. There's a whole lot. It's like a hotbed of talent here in the Southeast United States. So Soul Play, Soul Clay. I mean, there's really great artists in this area, and I'm trying to get an event. Maybe we could all get together in Asheville and just have, Asheville is kind of a very artsy city, and that would be a cool spot to do kind of an NFT event. So trying to get some stuff together. It's just, and then you got freaking COVID and everything else. So, but yeah, I would love to do more, because doing an in real life event just brings a whole new element, being able to sit with Senator Greaves, and have dinner with him and just pick his brain and hear his story.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the man has stories. It's just,
he looks like he's got stories.
Oh my God, he's so fascinating. Or talking to Wes Henry and just hearing about his journey, from when he was in advertising and then making the move to the NFT space. And, just being able to hear these stories firsthand is just absolutely incredible. To get that, anytime you get to do a IRL event, if it's something close to you, like, you're really lucky, because you have the Nomad fam right over there close to you, and there's always stuff popping in LA. And man, I wish, where I lived was a hotbed of NFT activity like that, or, like Punk Actual up in Vancouver. Vancouver's a real hot spot for NFT. So there's always something popping up there.
Yeah.
It's just, if you get an opportunity to attend one of those events and actually shake people's hands and meet and talk to them and hear their story firsthand, it's just absolutely amazing. I would encourage anybody.
Different level.
Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. Yeah, because it's like, hey, you're not just a Twitter PFP,
right?
You're a real person. Hey, it's so nice to meet you. Give them a hug or whatever. So yeah, it's awesome.
Nice. All right, so the last thing then is the lightning round. You ready?
Oh, lightning round. Okay.
Yeah. So first, you just gotta answer quickly.
Okay.
Can't think about it. All right.
Yep.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Beach or forest?
Forest.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Even though I heard a bunch of cats meowing.
Yeah,
back there.
there are a million cats. Well, I mean, my sister lives here, and she has a cat problem.
Okay.
So
she has a cat problem.
Yeah. A little addiction.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
What was your childhood nickname?
Topher.
Topher. Okay.
Topher, because everybody says, well, everybody uses the Chris, so we'll just call you Topher. And
we'll use the back half of the name.
That was that was like all through high school, playing football and everything. It was Topher or Toph.
Yeah. Okay. Summer or winter?
Winter.
Do you cook or do you order in?
Order in.
What's your favorite place to order from?
Chinese.
Okay. Favorite place to visit?
Oh, Jesus. Like, I would say the Smoky Mountains, because it's close to me and there's a lot of cool history and trees and forests and stuff. So.
All right. What's your guilty pleasure?
Bourbon.
What kind of bourbon? What's your
Not
drink?
very often. Not very often. And I'm not an expensive bourbon drinker. I like Jim Beam. Jim
Okay.
Beam 10-year, black label is good enough for me. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. But
Okay.
yeah. And that's not very often. That's just, celebrate a sale or, out with
Yeah.
friends. So,
Celebratory. I like that. Okay.
yep.
What was your favorite Saturday morning cartoon as a kid?
Ooh, Super Friends.
That's a good one. We're about the same. Well, you're a little bit older than me, but we're same
Yes.
generation.
Yeah, I'm pushing 50. So
Okay. Yeah.
cartoons for
We're
me were
the
probably a
same,
little bit
same
different.
generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super Friends is a good one. All right. And then the last one, the most important one, Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac. West Coast.
Right answer.
Yeah, gotta go with West Coast. Yeah, because I was, coming up, that was like right after high school, with Dr. Dre and the Chronic and all that. So yeah, that's West Coast.
So I was gonna ask you. So I know the lightning round was supposed to be the end of this, but I'm really fascinated to hear, like, how did you get into hip hop? Because, well, I guess you're from Memphis. Hip
Yeah,
hop's
there's a
huge in
big,
Memphis.
yeah,
So
big hip hop. Uh, well, yeah, I mean, Memphis is not the safest place either. So,
yeah, I know.
um,
But even Nashville's got some.
Nashville, yeah, Nashville's getting pretty
Yeah.
scary too. Um, but yeah, it's kind of weird for old country boy to like hip hop. But I mean, I like all genres of music too. So except country, which is weird because I'm in the
Yeah.
country music capital of the world. But yeah, I'm not much of a country music guy. But
So when
I
you
mean, I
were
got
when you were
plenty of.
growing up, were like your friends, were they all listening to West Coast hip hop?
Oh yeah, Ice Cube and NWA,
Yeah.
and then playing sports too. That just really got us pumped up to play. You know, um, but yeah, but I mean, it's not just all hip hop. I mean, the Seattle sound too was big influence on me. Because
Hmm.
growing up during that time, um, I actually got an opportunity to go to Seattle not too long ago, so that was a pretty cool experience. Um, but yeah, it's kind of funny because my dad, he's a huge country guy, and I like old school country, like Johnny Cash or Waylon Jennings or
Yeah.
you know Hank, but the new country is just no thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
Uh,
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Obviously I grew up on the West Coast in California. So like
right.
it was a no-brainer. I grew up listening to this stuff on the West Coast. But I think it's interesting when you meet people not from, the West Coast, who went the West Coast hip hop route versus the East Coast. Because I mean the sounds are so different, and
Yeah.
it was going on at the same time, but they had such different feel to them.
Mhm. Yeah, and
So
that's been such an influence on you guys. I mean, God, when we first started, you know, that was like your thing was, and I still love
yeah.
that series. I love that series, the hip hop series. Freaking love it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have to
I was looking.
I'm gonna reimagine some of that stuff because OpenSea decided that they're gonna start delisting my work because it was uh the name, image, likeness stuff that's going on with all these rappers, and like especially the ones who've died, their families are suing people and everything. So OpenSea is just like they take it down right away.
Yeah.
So so some of those I'm actually working on reimagining with my sort of new style, um so that I can gift those to the collectors of the original piece, so that there's something new and fresh, but also is safe from being taken down. So
Well, that's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to
yeah,
that.
yeah. So yeah, it's been fun. I've been wanting to do it, but you know, my collections have just been so, you know, like all the pieces that have gone in there fit with the collection. So this would be like a whole new thing. So, but
Well,
yeah,
that's exciting, dude. I'm excited
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
So
I'll show you
where?
some of the stuff.
Yeah, you have to send it to me.
Yeah.
So where do you? We had talked a little bit about this series beforehand. This DOXXED. Where do you envision DOXXED going? This video series.
Well, you know, I it's sort of, you know, it's a passion project. Like I
Mhm.
feel like you that, you know, developing real relationships with people is the most fun and the most important part of the NFT space, in my opinion. And you know, so I feel like this gives me a little more of a glimpse into who you are. And then I've had the pleasure of getting to know you over the last year now, but you know, not everybody does. So
Right, true.
so my hope is that, you know, people will watch these and be interested in learning more about the people who have influence in the space. You know, you I'm I want to get a mix of collectors, artists, um, you know, digital artists, multimedia artists, like from all over the world. Because that's
Right.
the other thing, is that the what's amazing about this space is that, you know, our world has gotten a little bit smaller because now we've got friends in Berlin and Barcelona and Thailand, and, you know, and like, so being able to sort of highlight the diversity of this space, and also, as you know, the people have gotten burned by artists,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and you know, and other people in the space, not just artists, but influencers who come in, built a brand around lies and that sort of thing, and then they just sort of disappear. And so I
True.
feel like this can be a platform for people uh, who want to allow the world to sort of see who they are, get to know the people behind the PFP or the wallet if they're a collector, you know, and just sort of get insight from people. You know, I feel like you have a lot of great insight. I think that people will learn a lot from watching this conversation that we just had. Um, and who knows? I mean, I mean, I would love for it to grow into something that, you know, where it's sort of a regular thing and we have like a weekly guest on and people are looking forward to seeing the next episode. So,
That would be
um,
that would be cool. I'm
yeah.
honored that you chose me out of all people to be
Oh, of course.
the first, especially.
And my co-host.
Yeah, and yes, true. So it's hopefully, you know, maybe people can look at this and say, well, if God, if Chris can do it, anybody can do it. So, you
Well,
know,
that's the thing, is you and I are both not
we're both like socially awkward and
super introverts.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so that's the other thing, is like, I think knowing that we're both introverts makes this a little easier, you know, because we can just
Yeah.
have a casual conversation knowing that this is really uncomfortable for both of us. And I feel like a lot of people in this space are introverts, and there hasn't really been
Yes.
a platform for them to talk about themselves. It's weird to talk about yourself, you know.
It is. It is. It is. And especially artists are, you know, kind of private by nature anyway. And, you know, a lot of internal processes that, you know, not everybody is a big, you know, big talker. So hopefully this inspires some people to come out and, you know, and speak.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where it goes, but appreciate you taking the time, and it was nice to, even though I know so much about you, I actually learned a few things, and so I hope that
Cool.
yeah, I'm it's been nice. So thank you.
It's been an honor, Noah, and I look forward to doing more.
Yeah.
And
All right.
yep. All right, brother.
All right.
Talk to you
Have a
soon.
good one, man. All right.
See you, buddy. All right, bye.
Bye.